Hey guys, Brian Haratsky here. I want to talk about one of the best rivalries in sports, Caps Penguins. It's also one of the most one-sided rivalries, not in talent and not in level of play, but in officiating. And yes, I am a Caps fan, but I also try to look at games as an unbiased viewer, and it's just pathetic. The last 3 seasons at least, I've seen every game. Some of them I've watched twice, and I just don't know why the NHL wants the best two players on the ice, which, in my opinion, I think is Ovechkin, or Ovechkin Crosby, and sometimes Malkin outplays Crosby as he did in the Stanley Cup playoffs. But the officiating has just been terrible, and every single one of those games, the Caps, who are one of the least penalized teams in the league, all of a sudden becomes one of the most penalized teams in the league. This was last night. There was tons and tons of penalties that were missed on the Penguins. Tripling calls right in front of the refs. They would call two hooks, and they would completely turn a blind eye. Somebody skating with a puck, and they would miss it. I know they want to keep the games even, but some calls. I played hockey. Some calls you have to make. It's unfair to one of those teams that you let them you let the opposition get away with murder. They're good alone. They won the Stanley Cup last year. Let them play on an even playing field. Let the ice be even. Let me read the box score from last night's game. First period. Well, penalty scores. Or penalties. Tom Poti, delay the game. Obvious call. You have to make that call. There's no discrepancy in delay a game. I'm not complaining about that type of call. Thomas Fleischman tripping. Was it a penalty? Yes. But did the Penguins do the same penalty about 5 times during that game and not get a single call? Yes. Chris Letang tripping. The only reason this was tripped was because they missed a call 2 minutes earlier, and Ovechkin went down. Announcer said, I don't see how they missed that call right there, but they did. It was right in front of the refs. Alexander Semin, high sticking. The funny thing about this high sticking call, Eric Farrell was high sticked 3 minutes, like no more than 3 minutes earlier, probably less than that, and the ref was 10 feet away. 10 feet. How do you not call that when you see it? It's an automatic call. It's high sticking. You hit a guy in the face with your stick, unless you're following through on a shot or you're winding up to take a shot. It's a call. I mean, it was right in front of the ref. It was in the front of the net, and they don't call it. Thomas Fleischman tripping again. That was a kind of weak call that I saw. One that the Penguins were doing all night and got away with. I don't understand that. Jeff Schultz holding. I think this one was. I'm pretty sure this one was on Sidney Crosby, or else it wouldn't have been called. But anyway, I'm sure the Penguins did it that night too, as they got away with murder. During that game, they had that Rupp just wailing away on Ovechkin while he was trying to pull him away from the goalie, and he was just wailing away on guys. No punches thrown by the Caps, at least none that I saw, and there wasn't even a roughing call. It's complete and utter BS. I'd like to keep my language clean because I'm doing this as a mass comm intern and somebody who wants a job in the field. I don't want to lose a chance, but come on. And the game before, the one that was on Super Bowl Sunday, that was a complete and utter disgrace to the league. That it's one of the biggest nationalized television games, and you can't put quality refs that want to call the game even. The hit on Alex Ovechkin, give me a break. That was a 5-minute major. The guy should have been suspended. Alex Ovechkin was suspended for the same type of hit, and this guy doesn't even get it. Craig Adams was the guy that did it, and he doesn't even get a 2-minute penalty. In fact, Mike Knuble went out, got in a fight with him, like you're supposed to do in hockey, and they get the power play. Also in that game, Brian Pothier, now with the Carolina Hurricanes, he does an awesome hit check on Brooks Orpik. Then they score. What happens? Brooks Orpik goes after Brian Pothier, one of the most stand-up guys in the league, and just starts wailing on him. I don't even think he gets a penalty. The Penguins just scored, and he thinks he should go and start going after a guy for giving him a clean hip check. I mean, it's they say Ovechkin's one of the dirtiest players, which is a complete and utter lie. I mean, I've never seen him go after a guy after his team scored, after a clean hit was given. I mean, talk about a disgrace to the league. Brooks Orpik. I mean, come on. And the hit on Ovechkin, I can't believe that wasn't called. It's just the Penguin refs. That's what I call them now, because I've never seen a Caps Penguins game called fairly. And if it was called fairly, I would say it. I mean, 1 or 2 missed calls, that's fine. But when it gets to 5 or 10 and you're stacking up the penalties against the other team, that's what I mean by one-sided calling. When one penalty is called on one team and then the other team gets to do it 2 or 3 times and gets away with it. That's what I'm talking about. That's how the refs rigged the playoffs last year, which I will stand by this. They rigged the playoffs so Sidney Crosby could get his first ring. I'm convinced. If you watched the Washington Capitals series, there's no way that he should have won. I mean, it was calls like hooking calls that were called that were barely even. Let's go back to the second game, or the Super Bowl Sunday game. Jeff Schultz 5 feet behind a guy. Guy breaks his stick trying to make a pass. Ref's 10 feet away, sees it. The other ref on the other side calls him for slashing. Didn't even touch the guy. He was 5 feet behind him. How is that a penalty? I mean, it's just 9 calls on one side and complete BS calls on the other. And backtracking to the playoff series, even against Detroit should have won. Evgeny Malkin should have been suspended for the fight that he got in, according to the rule book. And they just, hey, he's the best player on their team. Let's give him a free bribe because he's a skill player. He got in a fight in I think it was the last 15 seconds of the game, only to get in a fight. Started by the Pittsburgh Penguins spearing Osgood, or whoever their goalie was at the time. I'm pretty sure it was Osgood. I don't know why I wasn't suspended. And these are head scratchers that I'm talking about. It's complete head scratchers. This 6-on-5 that they allow for just about 30 seconds, I think it was 27 seconds on the clock. And then they give a penalty to the Detroit Red Wings because the other team has 6 men. How are you going to defend that without taking a penalty? Too many men on the ice. I know a lot of people don't. I'm not going to say that, but it's 5-on-5 unless the goalie's pulled or unless there's a penalty. No penalties, no goalie pulled. They just went, oh, let's stay with 6 players. It should be a 2-minute penalty, bench minor, and none was called. Don't understand it. All right, that's what I think of Caps Penguins. The NHL could have a great series between 2 best teams, but they just don't like fairness. My next rant is going to be on the NHL and their uneven suspensions, because they just, I'm not gonna blame the man that does it, Collins, or whatever his name is, but they need to get some more set rules because it's pathetic. The NFL has probably the best policy for when it comes to suspending players. They should look at that, but that's for next time. All right, I'm out.